I find a lot, like for SEs, a lot of onboarding is horrible at different
Hmm.
companies. A lot of
Yeah.
enablement is horrible. For SDRs, I don't know if there's training within the company. Like, do they just give you a script?
Um, it
How
also
do they
depends.
enable you?
Yeah, it also depends on the company because the companies that I've been at, I've been able to kind of see how the SDR enablement is, the onboarding processes as well. Some companies, unfortunately, they do just kind of bring you in, you listen to a few calls, they give you a script, and they send you out there. They give you your software that you need to take to do your automated callings and emails. They might give you like your full what's it called? Email
Binder?
workflow, a
Oh,
sequence. So you
okay.
can send automated sequences, and they just say go after it. Get your LinkedIn license, all this stuff, go after it. And then some, they'll push you through like a 2 3 week boot camp of just like 8 hours of we're doing value selling, we're doing persona based mapping. You're doing we might kind of show you how the product works, but we won't go in depth because you don't need to know that, but you do need to know how to pair the solutions with what these customers are saying. So depends on the kind of maturity of the organization, but yeah, it definitely both sides and a lot do just kind of throw you out there, unfortunately.
Okay. And which one did you have? Are you allowed to share that?
Yeah, for me it was a oh man, again, this was like 2017, 2018. I think it was a
Taking you back in
slight,
time.
yeah, taking me back in San Francisco. It was a mixture of both, because at that time that company was kind of hitting. It was no longer a startup; it was basically a public company, so it had that transition to like, all right, we have actually a structure in place. So I do remember we had kind of like a 2 week onboarding. Uh,
Okay.
we didn't go too in depth though on how to be an SDR, which was kind of like my struggle because I didn't know how to
Right.
be an SDR. So I guess it would be kind of the former where it was like I just kind of had to go out there and do it. We didn't have kind of like this is how you do it. This is what you say. It was kind of like a yeah, you come
Okay.
in. Yeah. So
Yeah. How did you learn to be good at it then?
just I had to fail fast. I know that's kind of a term we hear a lot, but I had to fail really fast because that first quarter again, I was it was horrible. It was horrible, and I had a peer of mine who went through the same boot camp that I did actually, and he came about a year before me, and I would just ask him like, man, how are you getting all these opportunities? Like, what are you doing? And he would just tell me like, look, just focus on being an SDR. Like that because he was trying to do the same thing. He was trying to become an SE, and he was like, I just know that you have to crush it as an SDR. Like just take off your engineering hat. And this was something that my manager told me as well. My SDR manager at that time, he told me, take off your engineering hat, put your sales hat on. And when I said something like that, just clicked for me. I was like, you're right. I need to.
What does that mean though? What does that mean? Like, what clicked for you?
Yeah, it was kind of like again, I was focusing on how does this software work? Like what is the code behind it? Like how do I jump into the platform and build these things when it's like that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all.
Right.
Focus on why does this matter to this specific person?
Okay.
Like ask how do you figure out what questions like just listen to this customer and hear what they're trying to say basically. Um
Okay.
and essentially as well like not taking it personal when people don't pick up the phone or people hang up on you. Like uh, again, I it was a slow burn for me because I was like, there were many times I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But just again, just going through it, building the reps, and again, just focusing on the end goal too. Like just knowing that, like,
Okay.
look, I know where I'm trying to get. So
Did you get to a point where you enjoyed it, or you never enjoyed it?
no, there were points, of course, and another reason why I'm in sales, or a lot of people are in sales, are kind of money driven, revenue driven. So once those bonus checks were coming in and I was hitting accelerators, I was like, okay, I can, I can do this. And
Yeah.
especially like once you start building like your pipeline and your flow and things just start coming in after a while. And that's another thing. It takes time for things to start coming in. And it just started feeling like it just got easier. Like, all right, people are contacting me from things I sent months ago, but that's going towards my quota for this quarter. Like, because I started at zero. So then it just started working. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know the feeling. So I just have like I have many more questions, but I know
Oh,
you
go
had some
ahead.
questions for me. But
No, go ahead.
for right now, I know some SDR friends who were technical in the past,
Mm,
and now they're thinking about going back to solution engineering, but they're so
mm,
worried that they've lost their technology knowledge and
mm,
know-how. You were in SDR for 2 years, and you did a boot camp for SDR. So I don't know. You had
mm.
maybe a few years of not working necessarily in the technology.
Right.
How did you make sure? Like, did you feel like you lost your technology? And if yes, what did you do to overcome that? If no, how did you not lose it?
Um, I do feel like me focusing on that, I didn't necessarily lose the technical skills, but it's kind of like riding a bike, honestly. Like if you have that analytical type mind and you're always curious about things, you're always going to be like researching, doing things like that, and pick it up pretty fast. For me, I think once I started getting back into the technical side, again, I came from a more ME background, so just the whole,
Yeah,
SQL, like all that stuff, Python, Java, all of that was already new to me, but I was already studying that on the side. So once I got into a more technical position, um, it was a transition because now I'm like knee deep into these things that I kind of learned by myself and on my own. But then also, it's like, again, we talked about that earlier. It depends on the company. Like, how technical is your product? Like, are you just kind of going through different modules and a dashboard or something, or are you actually helping customers understand architecture? Like, this piece goes with this piece, map. So it kind of depends again. So yeah,
yeah. And also, some roles, some SE roles include post sales, right? I think that's
exactly.
the person I'm talking about. Like, he's getting that, and he's like, "Do I even know how to implement stuff anymore?"
Yeah,
And
yeah. And I'd say with that too, we mentioned like SDR onboarding. A good company, they'll see that you have at least the mindset and skill set to learn it, and then they'll say like,
yeah.
"All right, we'll bring you in, but we'll show you exactly what you need to know." So yeah,
Well, that's kind of what I told him. It's like, if you're having these issues, set it as a condition in your interview process. Like,
hmm
okay, I haven't done this in a while. I can
hmm
still get it back, but I'm gonna need your help
right,
to get it back. If that's gonna be a
right,
problem, that's fine. Qualify
right,
me out.
right,
But
right,
if you want me, this is what I'm gonna need for us to be successful together.
exactly.